Hi everyone. So today we are doing my September wrap up. I read a total of 18 books with one of those being a DNF. This is my smallest wrap up compared to January, which was also 18 books. That is my lowest I've read this year so far, including January as well. And I had a very mixed bag of books here, and I don't know. This year in general has been a lot lower on 5 stars, a lot lower on good books, in my opinion, or for my taste, compared to last year, where at the end of the year I had around 75 5-star reads, which is quite a lot for a lot of people. And this year I think I'm only in the 20s, maybe in the 30s. So I'm hoping it gets better. But yeah, who knows? I only have a couple more months left of the year, anyways. So let's get into it. I'm going to be talking about these from least liked to most liked. And yeah, hopefully this video is not too long. So let's start with our DNF. The DNF I had was For You I Will by Chelsea Maria. I DNF'd this at 47 pages. The book is a novella. It's around 150-ish pages, I believe. And this is for the Southern Hearts and Kisses last episode that should be out after this video, I hope. And I gave it obviously a DNF, so I didn't rate it. It was very preachy and very religious, and I didn't know it was going to be that, and that it made me very uncomfortable to read. It also had underlining, in my opinion, misogyny in it, and I just, it just gave off weird vibes to me, so I DNF'd it. And yeah, let's just move on from that one. Next, I have Mine. This is by Nissan, I believe, and this is also for Southern Hearts and Kisses, but that video has already come out. And I gave it a 2.5 star, maybe even a 2. I didn't really like it. I feel like it threw everything at the wall when it came to what this is supposed to be about. I love a paranormal romance, but this was not great. I felt like the first third of the book was great. Again, a novella. For novellas to be this bad and they're so short is not good in my opinion. But the beginning parts were really good. And then as it went on, the romance got more sinister, more not good. And then the plot of the paranormal aspect of it all got more and more convoluted, and she threw every paranormal being and everything just at the wall. And that, I was just like, okay, I'm over it. And for the last paragraph to be the main male character doubting the FMC because of what she saw, you're doubting what she's saying is true, and he's like, get over it, I was like, ew, disgusting, actually. Next, I have Curvy Girl Summer. This is by Danielle Allen, and I gave this also a 2.5 star. Honestly, it could have been a 2, I don't know. But I speak a lot about this in my previous video, some of the Hearts and Side Kisses video. But this, I didn't like it. First of all, this is a romance, and they don't get romantic with each other until there's 50 pages left of the book. And I don't mean romantic as in intercourse. I mean romantic as in looking at each other, saying they like each other, whatever. She's dating multiple men, which is not a problem, but she's dating multiple men for this much of the book. She's dating around, and then for this of the book, she's like, maybe we should do something with each other. This is not a romance. This is like a friendship book, in my opinion. If this was genred as friendship, because they had a great friendship, was there any romance, any chemistry? None. And the whole part of her being fat and her family just hating her because of that is crazy to me. Like, the reason you won't give me a yacht is because I'm fat? What? Like, the reason you won't... What? This book was diabolical in so many different ways. I'm over it. I'm over it. Next, we have This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I gave this one a 2.5 as well. The book wasn't bad. It was just boring. So I can't give it higher than that. I can't give it higher than middle of the road. Again, this book is basically, honestly, in my opinion, F. Scott Fitzgerald writing fanfic about himself, which, to each their own. Do what you gotta do, because this is a classic. So in the beginning of the book, they had a foreword talking about F. Scott Fitzgerald's life, and then I started reading the book and I was like, so this is F. Scott Fitzgerald's life. I was bored. I didn't care. I don't think with any F. Scott Fitzgerald book I read, none of the characters are intriguing, interesting, have nuance to them. Especially since everything is just said. What they feel is what they say. So it's just the end of it. And I'm just like, he's not a great, in my opinion, classic writer. He is a good writer of the times, the 20s. But that's not a classic in my opinion. A classic is forever. This is not forever. He is not forever. Next I have Night Pleasures. This is by, I forgot, but it'll be on the screen, so you'll see it. Sherilyn, her name is Sherilyn, and I gave this a 3-star. It was good. I was reading it because it was a recommendation, because I was asking you guys on TikTok for recommendations that are similar to Patricia Briggs and Anne Bishop and Ilona Andrews, and this is one of them that you guys recommended me, and it was good. I just wasn't into the story as much as I thought I would be. It does give similar vibes to, I feel like, maybe Ilona Andrews at the most, and it was good, but it wasn't great. I wasn't connected to any of the characters as much as I am for those other series, but you guys also gave me a recommendation for another series, and that one, oh, I'm connected, and you'll be hearing more about that in upcoming books. So yeah. Next I have Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I gave this a 3.5 star. It was good. I just felt like it went on a little bit too long. For a book that mainly takes place in like 2 days, 3 days maybe at most, but like 2 days I think, one maybe. I was like, and it's still going, and it's still going, and it's still going, and it's still going. And I just was like, okay. And I think it made it worse because this is like a pocketbook, so it feels thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. Ugh, I was just like, ugh, you know? And I was using an audiobook from YouTube, so I could only go up to a 2 speed. So I was also just like, come on now. But that's the only problem I really had with this book, is that it felt like 100 pages too long. And yeah. And it's a little predictable about the ending, but honestly, predictability isn't what makes the book bad for me. It is whether it's executed right. And this was executed right. It was just a little bit predictable. Next, we have The Battle Drum, which I also gave a 3.5. I really enjoyed book 1. I gave that one, like a 4.5. And this is a 3.5. I just felt like they went in circles for like a good chunk of this book. It was mainly just going in circles, talking about the same things, but not really getting anything done. Like, for this to be the second to last book, because this is a trilogy, this is the second to last book, you want to set up some things to happen towards the end of this book to make you want to read the third or final book, where everything goes to a climax and ends. But I feel like this was just like leveled the entire time. And so it kind of not became boring, but it became boring in a sense, because I'm not getting anything. Nothing was really solved. Nothing was done, you know. You just find out there's more colors. And you'll understand what I mean by that if you read these, but you find there's more colors. And I expected that. Because what people do who oppress others is they hide things. They hide reality. So that's not surprising, and it's not interesting enough to be the whole plot. You know what I'm saying? Next, I have Angel's Consort. This is book 3 in the series that you guys recommended me, and I said, oh, y'all ate with that. Y'all really did eat with that. Y'all recommended me a Nalani Singh series, The Guild Hunters. This is book 3 in the series. I read 3 in September. So this is book 3. I gave it a 3.5. I felt like compared to book 1 and 2, it wasn't much going on. It was mainly just like things in their relationship with like a mystery in the background. So that's why it didn't get as high as a rating as the other 2 did. But it was still a good book. I just wasn't as like hooked as I was with book 1 and 2. However, I did find so many parts of this book interesting that built on the main female character's character, but also just like the world in general, her family, her everything dynamics. So yeah, it was really good. Next, I read The Dead Cattail Assassins book by P. Djeli Clark, and this is my first P. Djeli Clark book, and I will be reading more. I gave this one a 3.5 as well. It was good. Like, the beginning was good. The end, like the last 30 to 50 pages was good. Again, that middle part just was a little dull, but then it picked right back up because it's a novella. It picked right back up. And I love this book. This is the first book I've ever read where patois is spoken, and it is really well done. I read on a very higher speed, so it was a little like, I understand patois. I can't speak it fluently, but I understand it. And it was just interesting to see it. It's the first time I saw it, and it was spoken by gods and goddesses, and it's like that's the language of of goddesses, and I find that very appealing and very happy. This book went in a different direction than I thought it was going to go into, and went into, I can't say what it went into because that would be, I think, a spoiler, but I think it would have been better if it went in the direction I pictured, because this one, it felt a little bit unfulfilled, and I understand I might get that because it's a novella, but a little bit unfulfilled. Next, I read The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd, and I gave this one 4 stars. It's a good book. It shows the what year would this be? 1960s? 1964. And it shows it very well. I was nervous that this was going to give The Help, and it did a little bit, but not fully. What I mean by that is there's a lot of Black stories written by white people that feel very, they only have one way to tell a story by Black people, about Black people, which is The Help, Secret Life of Bees way of thinking, or 12 Years a Slave years of thinking, where it's like they're either unintelligent, so they talk like, I is, sir, and I do, you know what I'm talking about. Or they're a mammy character, which is like, in this book, there is a mammy character, but I felt like this showed all facets of Black people, because there are Black people in that time who talk a certain way and who act a certain way, like one of the characters in here. But you also have business women and men. You also have formally educated Black people. You also have people who own their own businesses, who run their own households, who have money. And this shows multiple facets of Black people. And it also shows them never in a bad light, ever, which is good and bad, because, there's bad people everywhere. But it's good because it's not like you see Black people turning on each other or anything like that. Is good in that way, but it doesn't give me the vibes of a book that needs to be kept. I would rather give this away to somebody, because it didn't hold anything close. Like, there's a whole movie about this and everything like that, but I was like, it isn't anything special. It was good, but it wasn't great, Next, I have The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. This book was really good. I soft DNF'd this in August, right before I left for Norway, and I read it in September. Because the first 50 pages were so dense, and it low-key made me want to fall asleep. But after I got to those 50 pages, when I came back from Norway and I read it, it was really good. I had a great time reading it. It shows society and how women have to fit into society from men's view, but then men don't even want women like that. I just find that so interesting how, and then the men settle for what they think they want from a woman. And then when they finally can get what they want, now they're scared of that type of future, because they don't know anything about the future. All they knew was safe, and now they have something different. I just find that interesting. And it's told from the man's perspective, and it's good because it's a very feminist read. However, it shows the nuances of how misogyny affects everybody, not just women. It affects the men who made it. And I think that's so interesting. And it's just that if you're not a classics person, it might be hard to see those nuances because of how dense it could be at some points, and how sometimes there's whole pages and paragraphs that are just talking about how pretty this flower is, or how nice this dress is, or how whatever. It's like sometimes those nuances could get lost because of how dense a book can be. But this was so good. It was so good, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Next, I have The Bones Beneath My Skin. This is by TJ Klune. This is my 5th TJ Klune book. I have now realized I am a TJ Klune girly. I haven't still read any of his most famous works, like The House on the Cerulean Sea, but I'm a TJ Klune girly now, and I've finally realized that this is sci-fi. I've read his paranormal fantasy romance, but this is sci-fi, and I really enjoy this. Again, something about TJ Klune and the way he writes, I've never read another person who writes like this. Again, what I said in my 1 line per book video, he writes like time and pacing is a part of the story, and time passes so differently in his books. Like, it's just so interesting. And this book takes place in the early 2000s, so there's a very nostalgic thing there. Mind you, I was born in the early 2000s, so I can't really say I understand, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? It was really good. I really enjoyed this. Top tier. 3 characters. That's really all there is 3 characters with a couple of side characters in the background who come out to play when they need to. But a book centered around 3 characters, less than 400 pages, I believe. Is it? Yeah, less than 400 pages. And it's so interesting. And it's so cozy, but there is high stakes, and it's just top tier. It's really top tier and it's really good. Next, I have Seeing Red. This is by Sean. This is book 2 in the Bliss Peak series. Book 1 is called Just Right. Just Right. And this is a throuple romance series. Book 1 had 3 guys, 1 girl. Book 2, which I read for Re-Express and Chai Sips' book club, this was 2 guys, 1 girl. And I like this one because, again, I feel like in throuple romances, or not throuple romances, but in reverse harem romances, I have to realize there's sometimes a difference between those two, because in reverse harems, usually the guys don't do anything with each other. They do everything with the girl. But in throuples, usually there's more exploration explored, and I like that more than I like reverse harems. I'm like, she don't get tired, y'all don't get tired. None of y'all guys want to do nothing with each other. She ain't tired of all y'all just doing things with her. I would be. So I like it more when it's 2 guys, 1 girl, and they're all exploring each other. And in this book, I really liked it more because one of the guys, before they met her, they were just friends. They never shared anybody or did anything like that. But as the book went on, one of the guys especially, he started to realize, I think I like you more than just a friend. I just didn't realize, because I've never been attracted to any other man other than you. And it was them exploring what it means to like each other as 2 men. One of the men is bisexual, and it's known that he has dated men and women, but the other one had just only dated women, and he has never felt anything for anyone other than this one man. And I find that so lovely and interesting, and I wish that things like that would be explored more. So it was really good. I gave it a 4-star. Next, I have The Shining. I gave this 4-star. This is by Stephen King, obviously. This was so good. I really enjoyed reading this. I have come to learn that I am not a Stephen King fantasy girly. He will never get a penny out of me if it's a fantasy. I read Gunslinger and then Drawing of the Two, which is book 1 and 2 in the Dark Tower series. And honestly, if those were his first books ever written, he would have been blackballed from the industry. Don't play with me. He is tragic when it comes to fantasy. But this is my first horror by him. This is the 3rd book I've read by him. And it was top tier. I really, really enjoyed this book. I realized that Stephen King does horror, but in my life, it's realistic horror. Because, in my opinion, this is more suspense thriller, but the horror comes into play with real life issues. For instance, in this book, the real life issues is domestic violence, abuse, alcoholism. And something like it's prejudice and gossip and hatred, but it's accumulated into one being, the clown, Pennywise, right? Or in Carrie, it's bullying, it's religious zealots, it's abusive parents through religion, or things like that, right? Those are all realistic things, except for, Pennywise being a figment thing, right? So in this book, when he's starting to become the hotel, he's starting to, I don't know, express hatred so heavily. It's just like you're turning the pages and you're like, will he hit his wife? Will he hit his son? Will he hurt someone he loves? And it's like, it's so interesting because alcoholism is a very big thing and it plays a role, but it's just so interesting and so good the way it's explored, and how the ghosts and the hotel itself isn't the scariest part of this book. The scariest part of this book is Jack himself, and how far will he go, and does his pride and his ego and his work take over his family and his love for his family? Because you could tell that he loves them, but loves them. But is it the right type of love? And is it more powerful than the hotel? And is it more powerful than the beings that be? Oh, top tier. Next, I have Angel's Kiss. This is book 2 in the Guild Hunter series by Nilani Singh. And I gave this one 4 stars as well. It was really good. I had a great time reading it. It just expanded more on book 1 with a different and spicier plot. I liked it a lot. And I just like to see the same couple in a fantasy or romance series because I like to see them develop, especially since something happens at the end of book 1, which makes her a completely different person. And it just shows how she is she's stronger, but at the same time, she is the weakest she has ever been because of something that has happened to her from book 1. I love plots like that where you gain something new, gain something more interesting, but that makes you weaker because you know nothing about it. Top tier. Next, I have Into the Fire, which I gave a 4.5. This is by Greg Hurwitz. This is a part of the Orphan X series, which I love. And I gave it 4.5. This starts a new chapter in the Orphan X series. This starts a new arc, in my opinion. I own books 6 and 7, so I will be reading them physically. And I like that a lot. I like that this starts something new, this starts something greater, because the way book 5 goes about is like, he's like, I'm done being the nowhere man. And this just shows him exploring, what do I do after I am the nowhere man? After I finish this last mission, where do I go? And the book ends showing where he will go. And I like that. I liked it a lot. Next, I have book 1 in the Nilani Singh series, which is Angel's Blood. I gave it a 4.5. It was top tier. I read it so quickly. I think I read it in less than 24 hours. It was really good, really amazing. I had a great time reading it. And I will be continuing with the series. It's nothing more to say. I'm going to read book 4 soon. I'm just going to keep on going and keep on going. And I do want to buy these books physically. So hopefully I can get them from like Second and Charles or Book Outlet or Pango. But I will be getting this series. Last but not least, we have Bring on the Blessings by Beverly Jenkins. This is my only 5-star of the month. And it was so good. It was so good. If you have read any of her historical romance, there's a town that takes place in her westerns. And oh my gosh, this town is in this book. This is a cozy, loving series that has like good plot, good characters. It's such a small town and you get pieces of all of the town, of all of the characters, and some more than others. And then in the next book, you'll get more. It's just so good. And the fact that this is taking place where she's helping foster children, giving them homes in this small town, because everybody in this small town is older. If they all die out, this town will not be remembered. This is a historically black town. So you need younger people to come in to keep the history and the love alive. And so good. Top tier, 5 stars. I will be reading book 2. I already put on hold on Libby. Okay, everyone, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have so many books to put on your TBR. I hope to read more books in October. I hope to finish my 2015 and 2025, and I hope to just have more 5 stars in general, read more of my physical TBR. I did really good this month, but do more. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing 5-star, no DNFs reading day, week, month, or year. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.